for a brief over minute, although you are
Well,
I might keep that shorter because you've all heard me say this already this session, I think.
I haven't.
Okay, right.
Okay, great.
Well,
I had to say
yeah.
Okay.
Just yesterday, just hours ago.
Oh, so today is February 7th and it is 9:30 and you are joining us on the Senate Committee on Transportation. Our chair is not here today, so I'm going to be chairing my capacity as vice chair. And first up, we've got the Vermont Arts Council to come talk to us. So I've let you can take it away.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Susan Evans-McClure. I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Arts Council. I'm joined today by my colleague, Michelle Bailey, who's our Senior Programs Manager, and by Julie Babel, who worked on an incredible public arts piece that you'll hear about from her in a minute in the city of Virgin. Before I hand it off to Michelle, I'll just do a very brief overview about the Arts Council. The Arts Council is the state arts agency. We're the state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Arts, and our mission is to cultivate and advance the arts and creativity throughout Vermont. So we're working to build a state where artists thrive, where creativity is at the heart of our communities, and where everyone has access to the arts in their lives and education. So we primarily work in a few different ways. The biggest piece of our work is as grant makers. We invest state, federal, and private funding in our communities. We grant directly to artists, to arts educators, municipalities, public art. We also run two programs on behalf of the state, the Cultural Facilities Grant Program and the Art and State Buildings Program. In FY24, we awarded just over $3.2 million in funding to 131 individuals and 235 organizations and businesses in every county in the state. And we do all of this because we believe fundamentally in the power of the arts to bring us together, to connect us as people, to help us understand ourselves, and also to drive our economy. The arts and culture are a significant piece of Vermont's economy. The arts and culture sector added $1.2 billion to Vermont's economy in 2022, and that was just about 3% of the overall GFP because of production of arts and culture. And those are the people who work in the field, everyone from people who work in museums, libraries, working artists who sell their work, like the wonderful works you have on the wall here, up to architects, cabinet makers, people who are working in fine woodworking, and the associated services that go along with that, right? So we all need accountants and security officers and administrators also working to support those cultural organizations. So when you put all those pieces together, and think of ourselves that way, a significant arts and culture sector. We also know that people, when they come to arts and culture events or to see the public art that you'll see today, they also spend money in their local economies. So those folks, based on a 2022 national study called the Arts and Economic Prosperity 6, we learned that when people visit or buy tickets to events in their local area, that's within their county, they're spending on average almost $30 on top of the cost of their ticket. And then when they come from out of the county to visit an experience, they're spending over $50 on top of their ticket, which adds up pretty quickly. I went to a play on Wednesday night in Burlington. As predicted, I spent more than $30 on dinner. And it happens when you think about that in your own lives. So our funding comes directly from the National Endowment for the Arts, and that funding, about 45% of our funding comes from the National Endowment for the Arts. That federal funding requires a dollar-for-dollar state match out of the general fund. And then because we are actually the only arts agency in the country that operates as an independent nonprofit, we also are able to do some private fundraising to augment our grant-making capacity. I'll add that even though we do a tremendous amount of grant making and work across the state, the requests for funds are always significantly over what we're able to provide. So we know that we're never going to meet every single dollar of need, but we're always working to increase the funds that we're able to grant out and to increase the services that we offer to artists so that our role is not just to hand out the money, but it's to build the field so that they can support the work that they do as well.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, so you said you're the only one in the country that's an independent nonprofit.
Yes. So we were
just like a couple sentences.
So we were created in statutes as to be acting as the state arts agency. There's 56 state and territorial arts agencies. Every other one of them is directly part of state government. So they're in the state
Okay, so not
state government.
state. Okay.
Yeah, so we're considered one of the quasi-state agencies with this, it's kind of similar status to the state colleges and a few other like the HCB, a couple things like that, where we operate as a state agency because we've been tasked with operating as the state agency, but we are not state employees. We operate kind of
Your
independently.
instrumentality.
Exactly. Yes.
Do our will.
Yes. Please.
Oh,
All
So
right,
I don't want to take too much time because I know Michelle has some great stuff to add. So I'm going to invite, unless anyone has questions for me, I'm going to invite Michelle and Julia to take over.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Michelle Bailey. As Susan said, I'm the Senior Program Manager at the Arts Council, and I oversee all of our public art programs and cultural facilities and other things. And I'm the accessibility coordinator, wearing many hats. But today I'm really excited to talk with you about our arts and transportation projects that we've been involved with. Next. So I am, as I said, here today to talk with you about art and transportation projects and our work with the Vermont Agency of Transportation and other partners. This article I bring up because it was published by the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies a few years ago, which is an organization that serves all those state arts councils that Susan was talking about. And in this document, they highlighted a number of partnerships in selected states, and Vermont was one of those partners. And so I think we included a copy in the materials we sent off to you. If you want to take a look at it, I'm not going to reference it any more than that, but just wanted you to know that we did get some national recognition in that article. And this photo that is on the cover of this article is one that we supported in Waterbury from our Animating Infrastructure Grant Program. And we, as I said, and so our history with working with art and transportation goes back a very long time. Next. The long-term relationship between the Vermont Agency of Transportation and Vermont Arts Council began in 1999 when we partnered on the oversight and management of the Danville Transportation Enhancement Project, a mouthful, a project designed to nurture collaborations between artists, community members, and engineers in the redevelopment of a section of US Route 2 that runs through the center of Danville. Next.
Can I ask you a question about the Waterbury?
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's cast iron
On the bridge.
bridge, but was that done as part of the rotary? Well, the bridge was obviously there, but it wasn't part of the bridge, but was it done when the rotary was done, or was it just done as a separate?
Separate.
Let's put some art up on the bridge.
Yes. Yeah. So in Danville, artwork was integrated throughout the village and was successfully completed in 2014, with traffic calming elements and artistic enhancements to the surrounding area that included sculptural granite posts, a redesigned bandstand, as well as stone walls and plantings. And Senator Leahy's office at that time was instrumental in supporting this project and in helping securing some extra additional federal enhancement funding at the time when they had more of that available. Next. This represents an early creative placemaking project and included this self-guided walking tour of all the art that's in Danville in the village. And we know that creative placemaking through public art can help to stimulate economic development and encourage cultural tourism by attracting visitors. Next. So when I say creative placemaking, what does that mean? Well, in creative placemaking, partners from public, private, nonprofit, and community sectors strategically shape the physical and social character of a neighborhood, town, city, or region around arts and cultural activities. It animates public and private spaces, rejuvenates structures and streetscapes, improves local business viability and public safety, and brings diverse people together to celebrate, to inspire, and be inspired. Next. So we initiated something called the Animating Infrastructure Grant Program, which is what helped to fund this project in Waterbury that you were asking about. And that program is a grant program we offer that's designed to foster partnerships between communities and artists. And most of the photos that you're going to see in this presentation are images from the projects funded through this program. Next. So when we do creative placemaking, through public art, it demonstrates that this place is valued by the people that live and work here, and the people that live and work here are valued. Next. Public art adds value by enhancing civic pride. When people see themselves and their community reflected in their civic spaces, they are likely to have a sense of attachment that inspires them to feel ownership, appreciation, and respect. Next. It contributes to public health and belonging. Creating interesting, beautiful places provides incentives for people to get out, get physical activity, and it often reduces stress because people feel safer in their environments.
That
Next.
was like stained glass.
Yes, they are. They
Wow,
are.
that's gorgeous.
The artist, yeah, the artists worked in the community to gather images from the folks and to get stories about people who lived in the community to reflect in paintings. And then he took those paintings and translated them into glass
Wow.
and made this kind of broken or abstract railroad track.
Yeah.
Since this is on the Moyle Valley Rail Trail.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably goes red sign.
And this is
Oh,
the
yeah.
Hyde Park. What do you call it? The parking area where the trailhead.
Where they
That's the word I'm looking for.
Start or stop.
Yes, so next. It supports social connections and community and civic engagement by providing citizens with an opportunity to articulate what's important to them about their community. It activates the imagination through art and storytelling to emphasize our shared humanity, allowing the individual to better understand and connect with strangers and neighbors alike. These are just a few of the benefits.
This, I have to say, well done on this one. That used to be a go-to graffiti spot for all sorts of things. And that's the kind of stuff that I'd love to see. And
Are there graffiti people respecting it and not?
they, so far, that was my question. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
vandalized.
It just got installed this summer, I believe, because there was construction and repair work happening on that bridge. So we had to delay the installation. And in fact, the second piece of this, the Green Man,
There will be another.
is another one that will be coming on the other side after that side is completed. So, yeah.
Another mural.
Yes,
Have you ever seen the troll underneath the bridge in Seattle?
yes, I've been there. He's kind of fun and creepy all at the same
Yeah.
time.
But
But I love him.
We do that with the past in Vermont. I mean, and every time I go there, there's like 40 or 50 people climbing.
Yeah,
and taking
yeah.
pictures. It's like super popular.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tourist,
Yeah.
a real tourist draw. Sure.
Yeah.
yes,
It's a sculpture of a troll, like
Yeah.
kind of ducked under the bridge.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I think I have a picture of myself on it. I'll look. I'll show you.
Yeah, I have one on my cell phone too. Anyway, since the program began in 2015, we have funded so far public art in 29 different Vermont communities. Next. A number of them have been in transportation related infrastructure, which you've already seen a few. This was a temporary community mural project on the bike path in Stowe. Next. The Langdon Street Bridge project in Montpelier had a temporary interactive light project that changed colors when pedestrians walked across the bridge, adding an element of play and discovery to the streetscape. And then that grew into this year, Montpelier Alive launching their big bridge illumination project where they illuminated 7 bridges. And there's a little link to a 7 days stuck in Vermont story about that project as well, if you want to dig deeper. Next. We have this permanent kinetic sculpture on the Brattleboro Transportation Center. This is fabricated with durable aluminum bars and 4,000 shimmering stainless steel and aluminum discs. It shimmers and changes in the light and from different angles. And it's kind of a reflection in response to the river that flows through town.
No, you just, it was a spider web or something.
Oh, no, it was related to a whole project, community project around Ask the River, and did a lot of river projects. And this was a portion of that. So next.
Oh, I know these fish.
Yes.
Those are very.
This was one of our first animating infrastructure projects where we had this fish mural was installed on the retaining wall at the intersection of Route 12 and 107 in Bethel. And there were a lot of community engagement activities around this project as well with the artist, who was fantastic. with
And
that.
the artist is Gay Simonton's daughter.
Yes, Mary Lacey. Yes, that's right.
Right. Well, I don't know if she did, but I've seen she's also done murals, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Did this.
Yep. Yep.
And then is there a transportation project to replace this wall? I met somebody that owned one of the houses up there.
Yeah.
Because I wondered if, I met somebody that owned one of the homes.
Yeah.
And it was purchased by the state because it got to be torn down. So, and I think this was like 3 years ago. So I assumed there was going to be some major renovation of that wall.
I don't know where it lands in the budget, but yeah, we're assuming we've got something.
But since these are fixed,
Yes,
So they can be taken off.
correct. I was just gonna say that they knew eventually that was coming, so it can be removed and then they can decide whether they put it back up or what the
Right.
next steps
I
might
guess
be in
with
the
the
community.
deteriorating concrete, it looks more underwater.
Yeah.
Next. So down in the town of North Bennington, a little sculptural information kiosk and wayfinding sign was installed in the village. This was created by an artist who collected all kinds of materials from folks and kind of put it all together in this mechanical looking metal base, but it was all artist created and very site specific to that community with stories and all kinds of celebrations. Next. Community Sidewalk Poetry Project, which inscribed some poetry in the sidewalk in downtown Middlebury. Next. Another sidewalk project just completed in the Wyndham and Brattleboro by the Wyndham County Natural Resources Conservation District offered a design contest with K through 6th grade students. And then they had the local high school students select the winning designs, and then a local group of artists called the Art Lords refined the design and then painted it in the on the sidewalk near the storm drains to draw attention to the significance of those storm drains. Next. Up in St. Johnsbury, a lighted sculpture marked the entrance to the honking tunnel. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but connecting the downtown with the river and the rail trail.
Those permanent,
Yes.
those like, they look
Yeah.
like jars, but they're permanent.
Are you supposed to honk in the tunnel?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes, it's a one
Oh, one way,
lane.
yeah, so you
And
don't
so you,
get.
and there's a sharp curve, so people honk. There's a sign that says honk before entering so that someone on the other side knows you're coming through. So
Great place to live next.
another another project in the town of South Royalton provides light and color in the underpass connecting the village where the green is and down a little bit, going under to go up to Worthy Burger and some of the other businesses on the other side. That was the light, the art, and the lighted art was intended to try to make it feel a little more safe and colorful under that underpass when people walk.
People, exactly. This, I think, is a real win project because it added an element of safety,
Mhm.
and that is like a beautiful combo because people walk
Yeah.
through there constantly.
Yes. Next. This one is just been designed and it's, we're awaiting it to get applied and vinyl wrapped on the buses, but Catamount Arts in St. Johnsbury partnered with the Rural Community Transit, or RCT, to commission an artist to actually design these colorful and playful wraps. The artwork on the RCT vehicles will elevate the daily experience of bus drivers and riders and provide chance encounters with public art throughout the Northeast Kingdom for many populations, including car and truck drivers and passengers on the roads, bikers and pedestrians. And once installed, the art itself will be on the go in the community.
They're gonna be on all of their.
I don't, that was the hope. This was the pilot, just to do one to see how it worked and what, the response was and work out the kinks. But I think if they can, they'd love to do it with more of the buses.
Yeah.
Next. And then, this one again, the Fairley project. And this is where there is the picture underneath. You can see the design for the Green Man, which will be coming later this fall once the bridge construction is completed. Next. And then, since there have been so many projects and folks interested in public art, we worked a few years ago with VTrans and helped them to develop a guidance document to make sure that projects that are located in state transportation facilities have the proper permissions and all the, things that needed to be done. So we worked with them, and we also worked with our applicants to make sure they know about this and to connect with the VTrans staff and to go through this process just to make sure that, safety and all the things that we care about and community are all considered in that. So this document and this process exists now with VTrans. Next. And so that's it for my little very brief presentation. There's a whole lot more projects out there. We have a public art map on our website that you can go link to and check out more of the projects. I tried to pull a few that were transportation related, but there's a lot more great projects out there in the community. And so you're welcome to, click on that and check that out eventually. I'm still working on finishing populating it. I haven't quite got all the projects in there yet, but it will be there. So And so really hope that you're as excited as we are about the value that public art can add to our communities and to our economic development efforts, and, you know, meet a lot of community goals with striving for safety and, you know, enhancing pride and all the things I've talked about. So now I'm really excited to turn it over to Julie, because she's going to tell you a little bit about one of the most recent projects we completed in the program that they did with Julie in Virgin.
Okay, so you're gonna talk about the bus. This.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Want to know more?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad for your enthusiasm. So thank you, Michelle, and my thanks to the committee for taking the time to hear about the wonderful public art that's happening throughout the state of Vermont, and Vermont,
Yes.
and particularly stemming from the Vermont Arts Council. I'm so grateful. So as a designated downtown, Virgins has been awarded many state and federal grants over the past few years, and particularly enhancing the little city's downtown. Working with the city, we developed a municipal public art municipal plan in the year 2022, which helped guide like future plans for art throughout the city. And from there, and through the designated downtown program, I became interested in pursuing the Vermont Arts Council animating infrastructure grant opportunities as our first project. So we created a public forum, and through that public forum, the Tri-Valley Transit bus stop was identified as like the primary spot that needed a little zooming up, if you will, in our downtown. So that became our first project. And I can't tell you how excited I was the day that we got the email that said we got the grant. I mean, you probably could have heard it here in Montpelier. It was such a great day. So the call for artists process was new to me. And so I saw help from Michelle and my colleague who you saw in one of the slides, Karen Nevins, former director of Waterbury's revitalization project or program. And she really helped guide me because I've admired the train on the trestle, whatever you call that, for many, many years. And I said, I need something. I need more of her knowledge. So she was very helpful in helping me go through the call for artists process. 7 artists applied for the job, which it's like, what if nobody does anything? But 7 did, and we created a ad hoc committee for deciding who was going to be chosen as the artist. And it was consisted of a city manager, a landscape architect, designer, an architect himself, professional photographer, and 2 artists, along with the city manager. So local artist and sculptress Kat Clear shared her vision of creating a large metal installation within and around the Green Street bus stop. Some of you may know Kat. If you've been to the hospital in Burlington, she's well known for creating the Fabric of Life, which is that 40-foot art quilt.
Yeah,
It's a quilt. That you've got to Google it. I mean,
it's a big sewing machine, and then draped down is this beautiful metallic quilt that comes out of it. It's hanging on the wall in that big main area if you're there.
yeah, it's 40 feet tall and it extends over like 3 stories. And it's gorgeous. And that was kind of her like local claim to fame. She lives in Ferrisburg. She also grows a mushroom business, which if you eat at a restaurant nearby, you'll see Blue House mushrooms on the menu. That's an aside. But she became the clear choice, no pun intended, but her desire to collaborate with the welding students on the Northland Job Corps campus was like just a home run. It was like, oh my God. So with the buy-in of the Job Corps and Tri-Valley Transit's cooperation, the project went from drawings to cutting large sheets of steel in December of 2023. Each Monday over the next 6 months, oversized Vermont native flora, milkweed, Rebecca, which is the black-eyed Susan, and the northern aster, which you can't quite see there, but it's pretty cool coming from this direction, were fabricated on the site of Job Corps. Fast friendships and mentoring began to unfold. Welding students from Jamaica, to San Diego. We're participating in the process.
Jamaica, Vermont, or Jamaica?
Jamaica. Mhm. Claire, the artist, was overjoyed to work with the students, as well as having access to Job Corps' state-of-the-art laser cutters and other machinery. And on June 27th, Michelle was there, the dedication of the citizens and lovers of Virgins was held on site with about 80 people present. Culinary students from Job Corps served cookies and cider, and while the welding students were beaming with pride alongside the artist Cat Claire. The publicity leading up to the dedication was a blessing. And you saw that all and other stuff in Vermont.
Yes, a great.
8 minutes we got with stuff in Vermont, which is like a home run. And Flower Stop is now considered yet another asset and attraction to the city of Virgins, adding a cool vibe energy to a street that has 6 new and expanded businesses in 2 short blocks in 2 short years. In summary, public art is more than its visual. It brings people together. It helps to create an identity. It's an attraction. And in the case of Flower Stop, it's in full bloom year round in the little city with the big heart. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Northland Job Corps the CTE in that area? I don't know, I'm not familiar with the Career Technical Center.
No, Job Corps is a federal program, and it's been a part. Northland Job Corps has been in Virgins like forever. It was formerly the week school, which was
Okay.
kind of like what people think of like.
Right, like
But-
boys' school.
yeah.
Okay.
But Job Corps is like this, like hidden, I consider it a hidden gem in our city. Students that leave Job Corps go on to work for Vermont Mechanical.
Is it high school to the all adults, or is it
It's-
just adults?
No, it's like 16 to 24, I believe. So, Mike Dooley has been the executive director for several years now.
It's an independent, it's not connected to the public.
No,
It's fully federally funded, so it's, and they bring students often sometimes from incarceration diversion programs, often from New York, will be sent to Job Corps. So it is like 16 to 25, they do job training and culinary and welding.
Is
I
this
think
the
we're the only
only?
one in Vermont, right?
it's the only one in Vermont, yes, but it's all across the United States.
They'll be in the building this year.
Oh, okay.
They all wear green, work jumpsuits, like, yeah, they have a day here.
And the partnership between Job Corps and the creative nonprofits in that region is really, like you said, it's kind of a secret, but it's amazing. And so
It is.
Flowers, I mean, they will pay for all of these, like they'll just pay for these services. I used to be the director of Lake Champlain Maritime Museum. They provided tens of thousands of dollars of materials for us and services. They built a new dock system for us. They built all the picnic tables on our 3-acre campus, and it's a training program for students, but then they have to do something with all the stuff. So they end up partnering with a lot of nonprofits, which is a great partnership for Addison County.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Do they work with folks farther afield? Like southern?
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
They might, yeah, they're really, I think Senator Brennan said when they're here, I think they'd be great to talk with.
they, the carpentry department, when my kiosk was like an embarrassment this summer, down by the waterfront, and we didn't have enough money to do anything with that. They reshingled it, they, replaced the plexiglass, they repainted it. So it's this hidden gem that, really, and, one of the things, like I said, Jamaica, we used to just think of like people from like way far away, but now my understanding that 50% of the students now are from Vermont. And places like Vermont Mechanical, are like, and let's see, Vermont Mechanical, Lake Champlain, the ferry system. Yeah. They have a lot of people that are, being siphoned from there.
And at the day we did the opening, or that I was there, the students were just beaming with pride about their participation in helping and working with Kat on this art. because they don't necessarily think of themselves as artists. But on that day, they really did feel that way. And it was really wonderful to see
Yeah.
and have them talk about it and all the skills they learned. There's a little bit of that stuck in Vermont video. You see a little bit of that.
And it's a federal program, so we had a lot of hoops, besides the artists and all that, we had a lot of hoops we had to get through. We had to get the approval to go on campus. Every week, Matt and I would have to give our driver's license to the security, kind of escort it over. And so, my fingers were going flat during those 6 months. And the day they came, the kids were just, they'd never experienced anything like this before. And they always I don't feel like they ever thought of themselves as artists. But there's a woman that leads the department who was a former student. And she came to me one day, this was right before Halloween, and she said, Joel, she says, I gave them a project and told them to create art. And they all kind of looked at me like, what? And they were given a project of taking the scrap, from their studio, whatever you call their place where they work, and to create things. And so we put on a little ad hoc little art show at the pizza shop. And each one had their little table, and there was these weird things created. And so we had it up for the afternoon right before Halloween. This was prior to this. And so people would come in and have their pizza and whatnot. And the really cool thing is that the president of Vermont Mechanical was just so happened to be having lunch there that day with his wife. And that really kind of created a little relationship that was just didn't imagine could even happen. And I could go on
That's
and on.
good.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming and presenting to us. It looks like Senator Harrison has a question, but if there's anything else you want to tell us, we've got Jeremy up next. So
We're happy to answer questions, but
I just wanted to say this is wonderful. It's so, so cool and it's beautiful. And it's good for transit because you're making transit be something respectable and fun and a plus, because sometimes folks don't want bus stops. And I would just put in a pitch for future projects. Maybe think about something, because I think it'd be hard to do a lot of these, and you wouldn't necessarily want a lot of those just because it's so spectacular on its own. But something that would, in Virginia, you might want something that's similar, but less expensive and easier to replicate, but it would be in the theme. Because we use art in bus stops or bus shelters as a way to promote them and have competitions in other places. But this is the first time I've seen this in Vermont, and it's terrific. So I'm really glad you brought it to us. And if you can just think about different, more of these for sure, but then some sort of design that could be replicated too, so that we could have themes in different communities that match those communities and get more shelters, because we don't have enough shelters. That's one of our challenges, but this is so cool. I'm gonna go see it.
Oh, cool place too.
Totally.
yes.
well, thank you,
Yes.
Michelle, Susan.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you coming in and
Thank you.
making transportation relevant.
Yes.
That was really fun.
That was very well.
And Jeremy, do you have a presentation?
Yes.
We can go offline.